Hey guys, Retro Dude here. Thanks for visiting my channel again where we check out all things retro. We focus mainly on video games, but we do veer off sometimes into anime, movies, basically anything retro. We'll take a look at it. Now, I created this channel mainly because I wanted to reintroduce older games to newer generations. But I am a gamer at core. So today I'm actually going to be taking a look at a newer generation game. We're going to be taking a look at Resident Evil Village. The reason why I decided to veer off a little bit is because I am a huge Resident Evil fan. Yeah, I played Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6 will just pretend never existed, Resident Evil 7, Veronica, all of the remakes as well. So yeah, basically if you tag on Resident Evil to the old Atari ET game, I will probably play that one too just because it has Resident Evil in it. I will try to keep spoilers out of it. I won't talk too much about the story, and I'll try to keep it vague on when I show you guys the videos and stuff, so you guys don't get any spoilers if you guys do decide to play the game. So on this one, Resident Evil Village, they decided to veer completely off the zombie angle and deal in supernatural, I would say. You vampires, this guy that's like basically Frankenstein, the merman. So you play as Simon Belmont and you're gonna storm the castle. Just joking. You play as the previous game's protagonist, Ethan Winters, and you're trying to rescue your daughter. That's basically the premise of the game. Now, fun tidbit, the baby is called Rosemary, which falls in line with an old classic movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you checking it out. It's really creepy. It's called Rosemary's Baby. It's about a baby that's being born, and it's supposed to be like a daemon kind of a thing. It's supposed to be a demon, demon spawn. So it's a pretty cool movie. I got a lot of very good reviews. It's like in 1968, I think it was released. So I definitely recommend you guys checking it out just to see that fun pun on that movie. Now the game does focus a bit on psychological horror, so those scares are there. Especially when I was playing through it, the one that really made me jump was you meet up with the baby or a baby. It scared the hell out of me. I jumped when I saw it because I was walking around in the dark, and by the time you saw him, he was right in front of your face, and it wasn't a pleasant sight. So I just jumped and like, what the hell is this? It was really funny. It was really cool. I live for those little jump scares that they have on video games, and Resident Evil definitely has a few of those. Now this game has a few similarities with Resident Evil 4. One of it being it's actually action based as well, so it does have mercenaries as well, which was originally added to Resident Evil 3. So it does have those little things that basically keep the game fresh, not always tense, not always scary. Sometimes you just gotta hold your ground and just start shooting everything that comes at you, and it does it very well. There's a place where you're like in a stronghold and you get like enemies jumping at you from everywhere, so it's actually pretty fun sometimes to get away from just the slower paced scares and to go into a little bit more action oriented, shoot everything in sight. I like the little balance on that, so it has action as well. Now for both of these aspects that is added to it, so the gameplay is actually pretty tight. It never feels like it's like sluggish. It never feels like like they should have added this to that, or they should have added that to it. The only thing that I can probably tell you is that I had to speed up the camera a little bit. Even me being the fact that I'm an older guy and I do move a little bit slower, I found myself needing to speed up that camera just because it felt sluggish. And for me, playing first-person shooters, when the camera feels sluggish is when I start getting dizzy. So I actually had to speed it up just to be able to enjoy the game. They actually added a cool little feature as well, which is new to Resident Evil, and I didn't use it as much as I should have. It actually has a guard feature, so like you just see it in first person when you go like that, and it blocks whatever it is that they're trying to hit you with, even knives, which I found it funny. They're hitting you with a knife and you're blocking it with the hand, like if you have a shield or something. So it's a nice little feature that they added to it, but again, I don't think it's required. I think it was just an afterthought that they added to it, because I pretty much played the whole game without it. And Resident Evil, well, this is the first time that I've noticed a block button being featured on it. So you can take it or leave it. It's not gonna make much of a difference, but if you do use it, it was very handy actually. One thing that I really liked, it was a cool little feature. I mean, it's not something that's game breaking. It's not something that is gonna change the game or make it any more fun. But the attention to detail is something that you gotta give kudos to the game developers for. Is the game runs a bit dark, so when you go from the outside to the inside, just like in real life, and if it's really dark, it takes your eyes a bit to adjust. I thought it was just me because I was playing dark on the game, but I tried it again and again, and once I realized, it's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Yeah, so basically when you go from the outside in, it takes a while for you to actually start seeing that your eyes are adjusting to it in game, not your own eyes. In game, it's taking a little while to adjust, so you'll be able to see a little bit more. So you actually got surprised. I got surprised when I would walk in and just start walking like all the way into like a room or something, and enemies would pop out, and like, oh crap, I didn't see it. But that's because it took a while for the eyes to actually adjust to the darkness, and it was a cool little feature that I saw, and I figured I'd mention it to you guys. Now, I played the game in standard difficulty or casual, and I could definitely tell you that the gameplay is pretty tight. The bullets are rationed. So if you go crazy just shooting everything, you're gonna run out of ammo. Like in true Resident Evil fashion, some of the Resident Evils that gear more towards action actually veered away from that, and you just got bullets all around. So on this one, especially on my first playthrough, I rationed out how I would kill other zombies or the undead, however you want to call it. But I would shoot them and then I would stab them, trying to save those bullets, and it did kick in further on down the game. Now, another similarity that it draws from Resident Evil 4 is you get the merchant. So if you guys don't know what that means, it's basically there's an in-game character that sells you upgrades, that sells you ammo, that sells you pretty much anything that you would need in the game. As you find treasures, you sell to him and you get money, so you get to upgrade your weapons. This is an awesome feature. I mean, Resident Evil 4 definitely was top notch because of the merchant feature, and adding it here is definitely the same thing on that. So the fact that you'll be able to upgrade your weapons and buy ammo adds a lot of gameplay value to this game. It also has a post game points, so basically you're able to buy unlimited ammo from the post game doing certain tasks in game, also from playing mercenaries. So that's another feature that they added to the game, mercenaries mode. So with all of those things added, the replayability is really high on this game. Personally, I've played it like 4 or 5 times already. I'm trying to get that unlimited everything on it. I'm trying to get the unlimited magnum, so just so I could shoot through everything, and it's really satisfying just playing through the whole game. So replayability is definitely a strong point in this game, because I played through it like 4 or 5 times already, and I can tell you I'm going another time to replay it again. Now, without getting too into specifics of the game, I wanted to give you guys a few tips just so that you could enjoy the game a little bit more as you're playing it, if you're going to decide to play it. One is the camera. It felt a bit tanky to me, so you definitely want to speed that up and get your look and version as good as you can get it for your personal taste. Another thing that you want to know about is don't sell the meat. So in game there are animals that you can kill, and well, there's a merchant and you can sell that meat to the merchant. However, a little bit further down the game, he has a cooking feature. He has a cooking feature to his repertoire. And by the time that I had that, I had sold even rare meats that you're not supposed to sell. So I missed out on certain perks that could have only been had I actually cooked instead of selling the meat to the guy. So keep that in mind if you are going to decide to play the game. Don't sell the meat to the guy. Save it until you're actually going to be doing the cooking. Now, I know I've said it before, the ammo wasn't as rationed as it was on Resident Evil 1 or 2. You actually have enough ammo, just don't go crazy trying to shoot everything on sight, and you should be fine. Also, if you're planning on replaying it, again, you have the merchant, don't sell your weapons, because when you beat the game, you actually get an option to add unlimited ammo to these weapons. And well, I did it, so I'm telling you guys, hopefully you guys won't make the same mistake I did. I sold the cheaper weapons to upgrade my stronger weapons. However, the points to add unlimited ammo to the stronger weapons is a lot more than it is to the weaker weapons. And on your first replay through, it'd be great if you could have even those weak weapons with unlimited ammo, and you won't have to worry too much about it. It'll just make the process a little bit faster, I would say. So that's my little tidbit of advice on that. Now, if you do end up selling it because you just want to do it that route, don't worry, you can buy them back. However, they are going to be expensive to buy back, so keep that in mind. Another thing that I could advise you on is look up. That's right, on this game, you're walking by and you're enjoying it. I mean, there's a lot of things that the developers added to it. The graphics are pretty decent on the game, so you just forget to look up. And if you do, there's actually gems encrusted onto the ceiling which you can shoot down and get extra money for it. So just remember, whenever you go walk into a room, look up, and you see anything glimmering, shoot it down. Another thing that I actually didn't realize until like my third playthrough, that's how dumb I am, I guess, on your map, when you're checking out your map, sometimes the rooms are red, sometimes they're blue. If they're red, that means there's still an item on that room. So yeah, if it's still red, that means you're missing something. Like, check the drawers again, look up. There's something hidden there that you probably missed. So if you're a completionist and you want to do 100% find everything, make sure all of those rooms are blue, and if they're still red, that means you missed something. In the game, in my playthrough, anyways, I missed a lot of, there's these little like wooden goats that you're supposed to shoot, and I guess if you shoot enough of them, you get something. I didn't get anything, so I don't know, I can't tell you what it is, but I missed a lot of those. Now in the game, you are able to hear them, so I didn't really realize that because I was playing it late at night, and I was playing with my headphones, and one of my headphones is busted, so I would only get like the left ear. And it wasn't until I was playing it during the day that I actually had the volume on my stereo and the TV, so I was able to hear, like, they would click. So yeah, definitely, if you're playing with the headphones, preferably those surround sound ones, you will be able to hear it. So just sit there and listen, and if you hear like that little like wood hitting something, like a bamboo hitting the stone, that means there's one of those little things hidden there. My original playthrough took around 12 hours with all the backtracking, trying to solve puzzles, running back and forth, trying to make sure that I got everything that I could remember to get. I actually will be uploading that as well onto YouTube. It's pretty fun, and if you don't really want to take the time to actually just go through the whole 12 hours of watching the playthrough, I'm gonna be cutting it down. So once I get the Magnum fully powered up, I'm actually gonna be running a playthrough of that, which will probably run around 4 hours. But it'll skip a lot of the little items that I actually backtrack to go and get on the first playthrough. So just keep that in mind. Also, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more instructionals, so just in case like you don't want to ruin your experience when you're playing the game. I'm also going to be uploading a video on where you could get certain little items. So on the game there's these little balls that you get, and you go to it's like a little item box. It's sort of like a pinball, but it's basically like this house, and you just turn it around and you slide it, and you try to get the ball to the goal. So I'm gonna be uploading a video on where you can find those balls and where and how to solve the puzzle. And also because my sons actually played it as well, and they missed out on certain of the rare animals like I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna be uploading a video on where those rare animals are as well. And if you played the game or have any suggestions, just leave a comment, and I'll try to upload a video or an instructional on where to find these things. Even those little goat things that I was mentioning, I can definitely upload a video of me trying to search like where all of these are. So if you guys have any comments, just don't forget, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll be reading out, and I'll try to upload that video for you as soon as I can. So to summarize, the graphics are actually really good. They're on par with Resident Evil 7, last year's Resident Evil. So they're very good. Don't think they this still has last year's graphics. No, the graphics on last year's Resident Evil were great, and the ones are in this year are just as great. Musically, I mean, if you guys follow my channel, you guys know I enjoy music, but I do give Resident Evil a pass because it's not about music, it's about ambience, and ambient noise is actually played very well. Just like I said, like when I was walking around, it was all dark, and you just come face to face with a baddie and you just jump backwards. That's when you know they're actually doing something that is right with the game, when it's supposed to be scary like that. So it created that tense atmosphere that ambient noise, in my opinion, is supposed to create when you're trying to do a survival horror game. The story is meh. I wouldn't say that it's great or anything. I mean, it's just the story, and it's not something that you're gonna remember too much about it. The cool part about it is that it does set up Resident Evil 9 very nicely. So that was cool of the game to actually set it up like that, but it's forgettable. Gameplay, which is very important, maybe even the most important thing to me, is actually very well balanced out. So on the first playthrough, it was tension filled, and had slight areas where you actually had action on it. So very well balanced on that, which I really enjoyed on it. And further playthroughs, actually you're a little bit more towards the action oriented, just because you're more powered up, and it's just so satisfying, to be honest, shooting things with just one bullet or just knocking them back when you're not supposed to, because you have unlimited ammo. It's actually a really cool feature. I enjoy that a lot. I wouldn't have replayed it as much if it wasn't as fun. Resident Evil 6, I'm looking at you, that I quit that thing like halfway, or maybe like 75% done with the game. I was just so bored at playing it. So definitely the gameplay is nice and tight on it. The fun factor on the game is actually really well done, with the balancing of this, of just the jumps and the action on it. So if you guys like the content, if you guys like what I'm doing, don't forget to click the subscribe button, hit me with the thumbs up, it helps out. And thanks again for joining me on checking out this non-retro game, and ignoring that fact. As always, stay retro.